In less than 10 months now, here, we, the United States, went from one known coronavirus infection to 10 million. I'm sure you'll agree that's an out-of-control virus that is working its way through the American population, as well as the rest of the world, but we're concerned with us, aren't we? That milestone of 10 million, of course, is 2 days old now. It was reached Monday. And it's according to data from Johns Hopkins University, not from the filthy, corrupt administration of the Orange Bastard. It comes from Johns Hopkins University. And the most recent 1 million infections happened faster than any previous million. It happened in 10 days, less than 10 days. And the rate of infection is skyrocketing since Monday. It continues to go up. It's outpacing the rate of testing. It's now spreading exponentially in all regions of the country. And as of Monday, 43 states reported at least 10% more new COVID-19 cases compared to the week before. Again, according to Johns Hopkins, not to the president's task force on coronavirus, which is bullshit. The average daily number of new cases went up 34% over the past week, but testing has only increased 7.5%. According to data from the COVID Tracking Project. And you remember what the Orange Bastard said, that murderous son of a bitch, Donald Trump. Well, the more they test, they find more cases. Cut back on the testing, guys. Come on. You remember that, right? Of course you do. Dr. Rochelle Walensky, a professor of medicine, Harvard Medical School, said, quote, "We absolutely need more testing. Cases are rising faster than testing rates are rising," end quote. And of course, with every surge in new infections, which is what we're experiencing now, there comes new hospitalizations and more death. More than 240, I think it's more than 240,000 people now have died from COVID-19 in the U.S., again, according to Johns Hopkins University. And, of course, amid all this horror, there is some good news on the vaccine front. If you remember 2 days ago, Pfizer said early data showed that its COVID-19 vaccine is more than 90% effective. And I think I mentioned yesterday, that's astonishing in terms of good news, because the average flu vaccine is what, 50, 60, 70%? Some years it's only 40% effective. So to have a vaccine that's 90% effective is a clear indication of how, if one focuses on science, there are truly not a whole lot of things that science, given enough time and enough money and enough research, can't solve. But for the anti-vaxxers, listen, don't you people come anywhere near getting vaccine for COVID-19. And take those goddamn masks off, those of you who are wearing them, because you know you're Trump supporters, you're anti-vaxxers, and you know there's no need for a mask, right? So I don't want to see any of you people lined up at my friendly Walgreens drugstore when I go to get my injection. Go away. More than 43,000 volunteers had received either 2 doses of this new vaccine or a placebo. And a so-called interim analysis looked at the first 94 coronavirus infections among the group. Fewer than 10% of infections were in participants who had been given the vaccine. And therefore, more than 90% of the cases were in people who had been given a placebo. The pharmaceutical company Pfizer said it plans to seek emergency use authorization from the Food and Drug Administration as soon as the volunteers who participated in this have been monitored for 2 months after getting their second dose of vaccine. That's required by the FDA, by the way. And that request then for emergency use could be made by the third week of November. Today is the 11th. So another week and a half. The CEO of Pfizer said so far the vaccine has shown no safety problems. The Pfizer CEO is Albert Bourla. And Mr. Bourla told CNN's Dr. Sanjay Gupta, quote, "But we need to wait until the results are there," end quote. Now, it's not clear exactly when the vaccine might be publicly available to most of us, but when it is, according to Mr. Bourla, quote, "the vaccine will be available free to all American citizens." Free. Oh, Jesus Christ, Katie bar the door. Free? You mean like in socialism? You mean like in communism? Free? Why, we good American right-wing neo-fascist Christian patriots, we will have none of that. Free? I just wonder how many of these cucumbers and these other right-wing half-asses are going to make that declaration. Well, if it's free, it can't be any good. Well, if it's free, it must be communist. Well, if it's free, who developed this idea? Bernie Sanders? You stupid bastards. Another Pfizer official said at a news conference it's not yet clear how long the vaccine offers protection. We know how long the flu vaccine offers protection, and that is not very damn long at all, right? But we still get the vaccine. So many situations with viruses especially are preventing them is an iffy proposition at best because of the ability of viruses to mutate so quickly, which I mentioned a week or so ago, which sort of surprises me about this particular COVID-19. As far as everything I've read, it has yet to mutate, unless I've missed something. And mutation, of course, is a survival technique. Adapt or die. If you're a little virus floating around inside somebody's brainstem and you're about to cause that person to die, and all of a sudden, here comes a vaccine. Oh, no. What do? Well, for a number of our little virus enemies, you die. But for some, they quickly retreat inside the nearest T cell or something, and they say, okay, wait a minute. If I put this over here, move this over here, some bitch can't hurt me now. And then back into the brainstem, doing its damage. Okay, that's a ridiculous metaphor. That's the best I've got. You know, what do you expect? I'm a podcaster. The guy that said they're not sure how long the vaccine offers protection. This guy is Dr. John Burkhart, Pfizer's vice president of global drug safety research and development. He told reporters, quote, "We will be learning about that from the current clinical trial," end quote. And then we have Michael Osterholm, who is the director of the Center for Disease Research and Policy at the University of Minnesota. He said he was encouraged by this news, but he wants to see more data as the trial continues. This guy said, quote, "I'm a bit more cautious than others, maybe because what we heard is that the vaccine is 90% effective or efficacious, but we don't know 90% for what? For a common cough and fever? Is it for severe disease and hospitalization? Is it a cure for death?" A cure for death. That'd be a good one. He went on, we really need that kind of information to be able to determine just what impact this vaccine will have. Now, this guy, Osterholm, is a person who President Biden has announced as a member of his COVID-19 Pandemic Advisory Board, just so you know. But anyway, while we're all waiting for a vaccine, and whether we are waiting consciously, I mean, I realize we don't sit around and talk about, hey, is the vaccine coming? I don't know. What have you heard? I don't know. What have you heard? Well, the vaccine's coming. Is it coming? Okay, we don't do that, but we're waiting for a vaccine. And while we're waiting, COVID-19 is raging at levels never before seen during this pandemic. It's like all of a sudden the virus has developed some sort of conscious awareness. That would be impossible, of course. And it's making a last-ditch effort. Like, here comes the medicine. Holy shit, let's see how many people we can kill. We've been averaging 108,000 new COVID-19 cases a day over the past week, a record high, according to Johns Hopkins. And the most infections ever reported in one day, up until Monday, I believe, was last Saturday, when 128,412 new cases were reported. And the death rates are high. And in fact, they represent case counts from 2 to 3 weeks ago. So that's when we had 60 to 70,000 cases a day. Imagine what it's going to be a week from now, the number of people dying. Emergency medicine physician Dr. Megan Ranney said the United States is, quote, heading into the very worst of this pandemic. We're about to see all of these little epidemics across the country crossed and mixed. It's going to be an awful lot like pouring gasoline on a fire, end quote, she said. Oh, but it's going to disappear in April when the weather gets warmer. You still have it? Okay, well, here, try some Lysol. Just suck up a syringe. What, you can't find a syringe? Oh, you can't find Lysol. Oh, well, anyway, if you can find some, put some in a syringe, put it in one of the veins in your arm and just scoot it in. Everything will be fine. You don't need to wear a mask. Who wants to wear a mask? That's ridiculous. It makes me look funny. I don't want a mask. I'm just not going to wear a mask because, I'm so goddamn handsome. And I want my fans and my cult followers to be able to see me because, I'm me and me is I and I am me and I'm important. And masks are not important. To see my countenance, my face, among the worshipful masses out there who stand in front of me and inhale each other's viruses and spit and mucus and germs and stuff. That's it. Yes, yes, yes. And my good friend, Dr. Atlas, do you like his name? Dr. Atlas? Hey, he says, just let the shit spread through the population. It'll call out the undesirables, the ones from shithole countries, including the United States. And when it's all done, Mr. President, sir, and by the way, when this is, I'm through talking, may I fillet you? Sure. When it's all done, just think of all the undesirables who will be gone. Exalted leader, mein Führer. And of course, Trump loves to hear stuff like that from people like Dr. Atlas. So he pats Dr. Atlas on the head and gives him a biscuit. There you are. Good, Dr. Atlas, mein Führer. You ever get the feeling that madness prevails and that has seeped into this podcast? No, you wouldn't think that, would you?